NBC Sports welcomes you to the following presentation of the National Football League.
Two months ago, things felt a lot different in these parts.
You're thinking they still have a shot to make the playoffs? What are you, crazy?
Had we lost faith? Well, that depends who you ask.
Packer fans don't lose faith. We might run a little low on it, but we never actually lose it.
Nobody's worried about the Packers and blah, 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 blah. Now what are you going to say?
Throws, end zone, touchdown Green Bay. The Packers have battled back. You got to like the heart.
I don't know what happened when the clock turned to December.
The Packers are alive.
It was like we're the Pack again.
In the playoff picture.
This is our time. Bring on those feisty Lions.
Goff wants to throw, end zone, touchdown Detroit Lions. We are figuring out a way to win. That's what winners do.
That's what Detroit about. Fighting hard and grinding.
We are the most dangerous team in the NFC. Buckle up.
Winning you're in, we'll take that setup any time of the week. And Sunday night is perfect.
I believe.
I believe.
Go Pack, go.
Go Lions.
Next stop is the playoffs.
Well, loyal fans of these longtime rivals settled in front of a fire all across the Midwest. Meeting 187, Lions-Packers, playoffs on the line for Green Bay. For more on tonight, here's Melissa Stark.
Well, Mike, it was a unique situation for the Lions less than an hour ago, not knowing their playoff fate. I'm told that the players in the locker room were not watching the Rams and Seahawks in overtime. But at the time, I happened to be on the field with Lions running back Jamal Williams, who said, "Don't tell me. I don't want to know. I came ready to play." Of course, they were eliminated, but there's still plenty to play for. Linebacker Alex Anzalone told me, number one, we have the opportunity to have a winning record, which we haven't had in a long time. Two, we can play spoiler against a division opponent. And three, we have a chance to go out with a bang. When you're a little kid, this is what you dream about. Meanwhile, Aaron Rodgers told us the Packers are starting to become a dangerous team, but he expects this to be the Packers' toughest test in their recent win streak. Rodgers said he's had this game marked on his calendar for a while, using it as motivation, because no matter what happens tonight, this will be his last game of the season at Lambeau. Rodgers said he wants to walk off this field as a winner, Mike.
Well, if he does, Melissa, they will go to San Francisco for the wild card game next weekend. A Lion win or a tie, Green Bay out, and Seattle plays their division rival on wild card weekend. If the Packers win, Matt LaFleur takes his team to the playoffs for a fourth consecutive year. There is the head coach of the Packers, who's had great success. On the other side, Melissa mentioned a winning record. If Dan Campbell's team wins tonight, first time the Lions are above 500 in 5 years. Detroit won the toss to first, the option. So their punter is their kickoff man, Jack Fox, and that's Keyshawn Nixon, the dangerous return man for the Packers. Temperature is 24, a breeze in the air, win and in for Green Bay, and off we go from Lambeau. High hanger, Nixon takes it from the 9. Goes across the 20, runs into his own man. He'll be touchdown at the 21-yard line, and here is the Green Bay offense.
Aaron Rodgers, Butte Community College. Aaron Jones, El Paso, Texas.
Alan Lazard, Iowa State. Christian Watson, North Dakota State.
Randall Cobb, Alcoa High School.
Robert Tunyon, McHenry East Campus.
David Bakhtiari, Colorado.
Elton Jenkins, Mississippi State.
Josh Myers, Ohio State.
John Runyon, Michigan.
Josh Schneiman, Virginia Tech.
For the year, ranked in the middle of the pack in yards and points, but this is the healthiest this offense has been all year. Opening drive from the 21. They'll get it to the hands of Christian Watson. Misdirection for the Packers early. He'll gain about 5, around the 26-yard line, where Mike Hughes takes him out. So 39-year-old Aaron Rodgers, as Melissa said, final start at Lambeau this season, year 18 in the league. Significant drop-off in these numbers from last year's MVP season. More picks. He's had a thumb injury. Ribs have bothered him. The best thing he's done late in the year, lead. And he and Matt LaFleur, their voice together, their leadership and steadiness has gotten them from 4-8 to a chance tonight to win an in. After a gain of 6, Aaron Jones will run for the first down. carrying the Lions to the 35-yard line. Gain of 8. First down of the night.
This is likely going to be the game tonight. These two linebackers and what they can do to try and match up. Just a couple of weeks ago against Carolina, Carolina just ran all over this Lions defense. They did not have number 5 Deshaun Elliott in there, who's such a key guy as that safety down in the box to help against that run. So we will see how they hold up. But that is job one tonight for the Lions.
From the 36, Rodgers on the boot. The rookie Watson past the linebacker Rodriguez. And at first down, he's banged out of bounds. They say it was before he was on the white of the out-of-bounds stripe. First down for Christian Watson at the 49.
So Watson's going to touch it 2 out of 3 times here to open the game. And also, Mike, misdirection 2 out of 3 times. You've got a team in the Lions hyped up, energized, looking for a chance to knock off the Green Bay Packers here. So they want to try and measure that excitement a little bit and take advantage of it by coming with some misdirection.
A.J. Dillon is the back from the 49. Play action Rodgers looking deep, taking a shot downfield for Alan Lazard, who cannot bring it in. And a flag. Jerry Jacobs in coverage. The flag was late. It'll bring it all the way down inside the 10-yard line.
Against number 39. Ball's placed at the spot of the foul. Automatic first down.
It'll be marked at the 5.
You've got Jacobs, who was really in pretty good position, but watch Lazard try and work back to the ball. And as he did, you could see the grab of that arm, and I think that's what the official saw right there. Just keeping that arm from getting there and helping the right hand.
Terry McCauley, our replay analyst, our officiating analyst, 3-time Super Bowl ref, in the studio with us, agrees with you. First and goal for the Packers at the 5. Mercedes Lewis, the tight end, switch sides. Rodgers inside give. Aaron Jones will be stopped there, pulled back. Isaiah Buggs hit him first. Alex Anzalone second. So the Packers are down with first and goal. Usually that's great for the team in green and gold. Not this year. Packers have been awful in goal-to-goal situations. Worst in the league.
Yeah, and in particularly bad against this Lions team the last time they played. So many turnovers on this side of the field really was the difference in that game.
A.J. Dillon hustles in. Randall Cobb in there as well for Green Bay as Jones comes to the bench. Rodgers giving Dillon, and he is stopped. It'll be third and goal. It's Buggs again, along with John Kaminsky, who started the last 7 on the line for the Lions.
2 plays in a row for Isaiah Buggs right here, just going to work his way inside to make the hit. So big time, really kind of putting the pressure now on Aaron Rodgers in this passing game to come up with a play.
A lot of unheralded guys in that Lions front. Their one star is the number 2 overall pick, Aiden Hutchinson. On third down, Rodgers drifting, escaping. Rodgers throws on the run, incomplete. Thought he was going to take off. Made the last second shot to the end zone, and Green Bay will have to settle for a field goal attempt.
I think everybody in the house thought that Rodgers was going to run with this one, including A.J. Dillon. He was probably out trying to look for a block. Sort of dropped over the top, a little Patrick Mahomes style, but behind Dillon.
So Mason Crosby. No Packer has played more games than Mason Crosby. The 38-year-old will try a 22-yard field goal. Low snap, scooped nicely by Pat O'Donnell, the veteran punter who holds. First point of the night for the home team. 3.5-minute drive. Pack the first 3. Goff and the Lions coming up on NBC. Along the Fox River, principal tributary of Green Bay, not the city, but the body of water. Speaking of bodies, that's somebody. That's what I was going to say. Mason Crosby kicks it off. Justin Jackson, second in the league in kickoff returns. Can't get his hands on it, and the Detroit offense starts at the 25.
Jared Goff, Cal.
First swag Kazakage, leader of the hidden village of the Den.
Josh Reynolds, John Jay High School.
Amon Ross St. Brown, USC.
DJ Chark, Alexandria Senior High School.
Brock Wright, Cy-Fair High School.
Taylor Decker, V.
Jonah Jackson, Media Elementary.
Frank Ragnow, Arkansas.
Evan Brown, SMU.
Panay Sewell, Village of Malayumi.
That is some set of starting lineups. Ben Johnson's the offensive coordinator, 36 years old, first year on the job. Done a tremendous job. This is a good team. 4th in scoring, 3rd in yards. There's the former Packer, Jamal Williams, fighting for an extra yard. He'll get 3. Quay Walker, the rookie, made the tackle. So Chris mentioned Jared Goff at the top of the broadcast, former #1 overall pick of the Rams. Look at his numbers the last 8 games. 15 touches, no picks, and the best passer rating in the league. It's his 2nd year with the Lions since coming over in the Matthew Stafford trade. We'll talk about the type of season and the adjustment it's been for the 7th-year man out of Cal as our night goes on. Backfield empty, 2nd and 6. Goff delivers, incomplete. Tried to get it to Khalif Raymond. 3rd down against the Green Bay defense.
TJ Slayton Jr., Florida.
Kenny Clark, UCLA.
Jaron Reed, Alabama.
Preston Smith, Stevenson High School.
Devondre Campbell, Minnesota.
Quay Walker,
Chris County High School.
Kingsley Nagbari, South Carolina.
John Money Alexander, Louisville.
Adrian Amos, Baltimore, Maryland.
Darnell Savage, Maryland.
Rasul Douglas, Sussex Ave.
4 turnovers each of the last 2 games. Been part of the turnaround story. DeAndre Swift is the back. 3rd and 6. Pack bring 4. Goff hit as he throws, incomplete. Throwing a couple of wobblers here. That one was intended for Josh Reynolds. Kenny Clark brought the pressure. There is a flag down. Nope, I don't think not a flag. That might be a glove for a player. Yeah, it's a yellow glove for a player. No flag. 4th down, and the Lions will punt it away.
No doubt the great interior pressure is generally going to come from that guy right there, Kenny Clark. He has been to the Pro Bowl a couple of times, but he is the force that you have to stop inside, and they're going to try and line him up against Evan Brown there tonight to try and get the mismatch.
And keep an eye on the Lions all night. Again, they're eliminated, but they will do anything on special teams with trick plays, etc. We've got a good punter in Jack Fox, who's got a big lead and sends it all the way back for Nixon, backpedaling for the 15. Well covered as he's down around the 22-yard line. So Detroit special teams get the job done on Nixon, and Rodgers and the Packers will take over just outside their own 20 when we come back. Those preseason predictions, we'll look at that, brought to you by Liberty Mutual Insurance. So many people had the Green Bay Packers for sure as a playoff team. Right? 76% probability start of the season, the 3-1 start, it continued, but then they cratered. 6% chance of making the playoffs at 4-8, but coming into today's action, 64% as they've bounced back. So try to go from 4-8 to the playoffs, the 08 Chargers, the 2014 Panthers, and Doug Peterson's Jacksonville Jaguars, who completed that journey last night with a victory in Duval County over the Tennessee Titans. Green Bay can do it here tonight, win and in. Both backs are in from the 23. It is Dillon to the right for about 2 yards. It's about in there. Benito Jones and John Kaminsky combined on the tackle.
A little bit of a change on the outside for the Lions on the defensive side. Jeff Okudah, their #1 pick a few years ago, is out of this one. Mike Hughes is playing that cornerback position, and because of the way they're playing, really stacking up against the run, there are going to be some shots down the field for Aaron Rodgers in this game.
2nd and 8. Across the middle, Randall Cobb's got it at the 31-yard line. Kirby Joseph, the rookie, tackles him. It'll set up 3rd and 2 as Cobb, the 12th-year man out of Kentucky, connects with his good friend Rodgers.
It was interesting to watch those two guys before the game, wasn't it? Sort of linked arm in arm with Aaron Rodgers, and I don't know exactly what the symbolism was.
Stood together before the national anthem. Third and a long yard, it'll be Jones. First penetration almost stopped him. Second effort is going to be very close. Benito Jones again. The mark has Aaron Jones short of the first down. Matt LaFleur talking to Aaron Rodgers there, and the Packers won't huddle. They'll jump the ball quick. It's 4th and inches. The master of the hard count. We'll see if they go for it or not. They are going to go for it. It's Lazard, and he's stopped behind the line of scrimmage by Alex Anzalone. So forget Chill Alaska. Anzalone was all over it, and the Lions will take over at the Packer 31.
How about that for a big play? The one thing that you do notice when you watch Anzalone play is his speed, his quickness. You saw that initial step. He saw the motion coming across the backfield, took a half step that way and was in perfect position. And now the Detroit Lions are set up.
Their defensive coordinator, Aaron Glenn, excited about that. Terrific player in his own right from his NFL days. Under fire early. Defense has gotten better as the year has gone on. DeAndre Swift the back from the 31. Goff fakes to him. Throws it out to Amon-Ra. St. Brown on the run to the 20-yard line. Catch 101 on the season for the second-year man out of USC, who is a huge part of the Detroit offense.
St. Brown is just one of those tough guys. I don't think he's the fastest guy in the world, not the toughest guy, the quickest guy, anything. He is just a football player. Get him the ball in big situations, and good things happen for the Lions. I thought Goff needed a completion. His first two throws did not look very good.
You're saying something. It was ugly looking. From the 20, Goff protected, fires, incomplete. St. Brown couldn't fight over Rasul Douglas, who's popped to the outside. It's been a big part of how Green Bay's defense has done so well in the last month of the year.
Boy, no question about it. Rasul Douglas had been playing in the slot for much of the season, and then Eric Stokes got hurt, and Douglas went back outside. We were talking to Jared Goff about it, and he said he was severely disappointed when Douglas went outside. I won't say exactly what he said, but he liked him a whole lot better in the slot than he did out there where he is now. He's tough out there.
Second and 10. DeAndre Swift looking for space on the inside. 1 yard, that's it. Quay Walker, a rookie out of Georgia. Part of their championship team last year with the tackle.
I tell you, a big difference for me watching Quay Walker this time around is that he seems to have a bit of a simplified package. Just attacking downfield. Find the football. Go get it. He's been much better in coverage. It seems like he's just much more confident in his play, and he's been making a lot of plays lately.
Five in the pattern for Goff. Holds it, throws it, contact. Incomplete at the 15. No flag thrown. It'll be 4th down. Field goal attempt coming. Darnell Savage hit Khalif Raymond.
Let's take a look at that one. It's going to happen right here in the middle of the field. Good protection. Maybe a little bit early, but sort of that bang, bang timing there, I guess.
It's probably a pretty good no call at the end of the day. Michael Badgley from 37 yards knocks it through to tie the game. So the gamble by LaFleur and the Packers to go for it on 4th and 1 cost him 3. 8 minutes in, must-win game for the Pack, all even at 3. Tonight's aerial coverage is brought to you by Geico. Those of you who've done the bucket list trip here to Lambeau, you know it's expanded a lot recently. It's Titletown, that area. Hotels, shops, ice skating. A little run down the hill there. It's so much that they have built around this Cathedral of Football, 66th season of football here at Lambeau. Kickoff by Jack Fox. Keyshawn Nixon, best in the league from the 3. Nixon bouncing it to the outside and pulled down, or at least slowed down, as he gets to the 33-yard line. Ball came out at the end. It'll be right around there, and here's the Detroit defense.
Aiden Hutchinson, the University of Michigan.
Isaiah Buggs, Alabama.
Aleem McNeil, Sanderson High School.
John Kaminsky, Charleston.
Malcolm Rodriguez, Barry Sanders University.
Alex Anzalone, Gator Boy.
Jerry Jacobs, Harvard.
Jay Kerr, Life, No Life.
Deshaun Elliott, Rockwall Heath High School.
Will Harris, Boston College.
Mike Hughes, UCF.
They had a good time with their lineups, that's for sure. They haven't had a good time on defense. Most yards allowed in the league. 4th most points this season. With Aaron Jones behind him. Aaron Rodgers hands to him. Bounce to the outside. Nice cut. 6 yards for Jones, who had his right ankle looked at after the opening drive of this one.
This is an interesting game for me to watch with Aaron Rodgers. They probably threw it a little bit too much in that first game because they're going to tempt you. They really are. But you also understand with the Detroit Lions, they are a bit paranoid that they cannot stop the run. So I think Aaron is trying to be disciplined, stay with it here early in this first quarter, but you know that hard play action is coming and he's going to have those shots.
The 39-yard line, here's A.J. Dillon, and he'll get right to the first down mark at the 43-yard line. Chris referenced the first game. It was week 9. The Lions were a 1-6 team at that point. They beat the Packers at Ford Field 15-9. Rodgers threw 3 picks in that game, 2 coming in the red zone against Dan Campbell's team.
Strong left side of this offensive line now with David Bakhtiari back. Elton Jenkins went from right tackle over to left guard, and that really has been the focal point of this offense. Running and the pass protection of those 2 guys.
On first down, delay give. It's Dillon again inside to the 48-yard line. One more Benito Jones tackle. That's 3 here in the first quarter.
Here's a good example of that left side of the offensive line coming around and leading the way here. So, again, a lot of body blows early by the Green Bay Packers, and they are sticking to it. Give credit to Aaron Rodgers because it's really easy for him to look down that field and say, all right, I really like some of my matchups out here, especially without Okudah in the lineup. And yet he sees those safeties far enough off, he's going to stay with that run early.
Throwing here on second down, firing to Christian Watson, who's open. Caught it right around the 25-yard line. First down for the rookie out of North Dakota State, who had a shaky start but a strong finish to this rookie campaign.
Just a simple 2 deep. That corner has to go off to the flat, and then you go up and back out. The safety be inside of you, but you have to respect the speed of Watson. We were out at practice the other day. He took off on a reverse, and it was like, whoa. You could just feel the speed as it went by.
27 on that catch. The 25, it's Lazard past Hutchinson, but brought down after a gain of only a yard. It was Malcolm Rodriguez who comes up with the tackle for Detroit.
Aiden Hutchinson really has been everything they could have hoped for this year and more. And 3 interceptions on the season, which I don't even think he could believe.
No, he couldn't.
He said he's never had an interception in his entire life. And his first interception came against the great one, Aaron Rodgers, down in the red zone and making a play. But Dan Campbell's put it simply. He said, we got ourselves a football player.
The Hutchinson family watching his first game at Lambeau. Rodgers on the run. Sideline shot caught at the 20-yard line by Cobb. It'll be a pickup of 5 as those 2 vets hook up for the second time in this first quarter.
The linebackers for the Detroit Lions know that they have to be able to stop this running game, right? And so what you see is them having to come downhill and really attack it. So any sort of play action, any sort of bootleg is going to create some voids in behind those 2 guys.
3rd and 5. Rodgers, pocket collapses. Hutchinson chases him and gets him. Knocked the ball out as well, but they say Rodgers was down. The rookie comes up to now 8.5 sacks on the year and pushes the Packers back for a long 49-yard field goal attempt.
It's one of the hardest blocks in all of football, right here on the edge for Josh Nijman. When you give an athlete like Hutchinson that kind of running start, it's almost impossible to stop his forward momentum, and he just goes right through Nijman to get to Rodgers, and Rodgers lucky to hang on to that one. I don't know that he really did.
Yeah, I'm not sure. It's pretty close there. Packers going to go quick here as the play clock runs down from 49 yards on a cold night. Crosby. Just good enough. By a yard. Mason Crosby, who kicked a 56-yarder in the cold conditions against Minnesota last week, able to make it from 49. Here was the hit on Rodgers, and Hutchinson going after the ball. That elbow may have been down before the ball comes free. And then the low driving kick by the veteran Crosby. 6-3, Green Bay. Campbell, coach of the Lions. He played for the Lions, one of the teams he played for in his decade career in the NFL. He's one of 4 head coaches to be a player in the league for a decade. There was the interim head coach in Miami. So he got a little head coaching taste. And then Sean Payton did a great thing. He said, come here, let me teach you how to be a head coach. He was the tight ends coach and the assistant head coach for the Saints. 2 years Detroit, rebuild last year. Much better looking 2022 model of this Lions team. Mason Crosby kicks to Justin Jackson, takes the line drive at the 1-yard line, and Jackson knifes through out to the 25-yard line. So he's an assistant with New Orleans, and New Orleans is in a playoff game, and Campbell goes for the interview with Rod Wood, the team president, and Sheila Ford Hemp, the owner. And Dan Campbell is sitting there, and he has big coffees, and he just leans into the Zoom meeting, and he says, I want this blanking job.
And his head's about that big, and the screen's about that big, and he's yelling at everybody. But it's what he is, you know. He really sort of personifies not just this team, but that city in many ways. There's a great passion for Detroit Lions football, and he's bringing it out in everybody.
Jamal Williams is the back. Drive started at the 24, and to the right, not much room. What a quarter Quay Walker is having. 22nd overall pick in the 2022 draft.
Just such a difference. Devondre Campbell being back has allowed Quay Walker to just go find the football and attack. You can see it's Campbell on the other side who's directing traffic, but Quay Walker now is starting to figure things out, and he does it as a pass rusher too. They're allowing him to go get the quarterback some, and he has been a factor trying to escape from those guards and backs.
Second and 10 for Goff, out quick. It is caught by Khalif Raymond. Pulled down at the 30, Jair Alexander, who shut down Justin Jefferson, did the gritty in his own last week in the win over the Vikings here.
One of the best gritties I've seen, too. I told him that, too. That was a good one. But we do have Jair Alexander, who has a career-high 5 interceptions this year. Just 5 interceptions in his first 4 years, but you can tell he's looking for more on that outside.
Packers lining up late here. 3rd and 3. Bringing 4. Goff, as usual, protected. Throws it in the middle. It's caught by Amon-Ra St. Brown. To the 46-yard line. It's a gain of 15 and a Detroit first down here at the end of the quarter.
Key to the play, no question, has been the play of this offensive line. Watch how much time and how much space he has to step into this throw. That one takes a long time working across the middle, and he got it in easily.
Let's see, we had a timeout from Green Bay or a challenge. Let's see. Yeah, there's a challenge flag obscured by the sideline. Matt LaFleur is looking up at the video screen. You got to look at the...
Green Bay is challenging the ruling on the field of a completed catch.
Catch by St. Brown. Home team, if they think there may be something, they'll give you a look. So we're going to step out here for this challenge. See if St. Brown hung on this 3rd down pass, trying to bring it in as he went to the ground. Answer in a minute.
After review, it is an incomplete pass. It's 4th down. Green Bay has not charged the timeout.
Terry McCauley was all over this back in our studio. Terry?
Yeah, Mike, he really never gets control before the ball hits the ground. And when it's on the ground, the hands are off the ball. It's clearly incomplete. Good reversal by replay.
Thanks, Terry. So that roll off of the left hand means it will be a punt. It's a successful challenge for Matt LaFleur, so he can earn a third if his second one is correct. And with 29 seconds left, Jack Fox will kick it to Keyshawn Nixon. Line drive kick, very returnable, 40-yarder. Nixon from the 29, takes it to the outside. Look out here. Nixon pushed to the outside, and Malcolm Rodriguez chased him down at the 46-yard line. Good field position for Rodgers here at the end of the quarter. Green Bay wins. They go to San Francisco for Wild Card Weekend. As a matter of fact, Super Wild Card Weekend presented by Verizon. Here is the lineup of the windows on CBS, Fox, and NBC and Peacock. 2 games Saturday, 4:30 Eastern, then in primetime Saturday night. Sunday afternoon at 1, 4:30. Then we'll be with you in our typical slot, 8:15 on Sunday night. And then ABC and ESPN will be in their typical Monday night slot at 8:15. The games and times to match the networks will be announced at some point soon. So we'll hopefully have that before we go to bed tonight. End of the quarter, Christian Watson around the end. That's the speed Chris was talking about. Wrestled out of bounds at midfield. Alex Anzalone with the tackle in the first quarter comes to an end. And after 1, it's Packers 6, Lions 3. And we check in with Maria, Tony, and Jason for our AWS Next Gen Stats studio.
Welcome back to Lambeau. I'm joined by Lions head coach Dan Campbell. And Dan, the team found out shortly before kickoff that you were eliminated from the playoffs. We have seen some huge defensive plays. How motivated are you guys?
Yeah, we don't want them to go. So that's our motivation. So we're ready. We're trying to play. We're trying to finish this game and see if we can make some plays on both sides of the ball, special teams. And that's our objective.
Offensively, what do you want to see to get in the end zone?
We just got to be more efficient. You know, 3rd down, we haven't been real good right now, you know, and really that starts with running the ball a little bit better on 1st and 2nd down. So we'll get in a rhythm. It's just taking a minute. So our defense just continue to play hard here, see if we can get a takeaway. And then offensively, we'll get our rhythm. It takes a minute. This type of night, great environment, all this, you can't ask for anything better.
Thanks, Dan.
Okay.
All right, Melissa, thank you. Rodgers throws complete. Lazard came down with his hand on the ground, but did not catch it. Incomplete. This is from the far side official who had to look into where the ball came down, and he immediately signaled.
Incomplete pass. 3rd down.
Incomplete.
Yeah, it was a good call. It definitely bounced off the ground. Right there, you could see never really had control over it whatsoever. But it really is interesting to listen to Dan Campbell, isn't it? Like, yeah. You could just sit and talk to him. When he was talking to us, he said, look, we don't know what's going to happen, but either we're going to the play or not. To the team, either we're going or they're not. And these guys are playing.
Nobody's converted a 3rd down tonight. 3rd and 4. Rodgers, back foot flip, is brought in by Robert Tonyan, his tight end. Terrific grab at the 29 to gain a 21.
Every once in a while you go to practice and you watch Aaron Rodgers just do this little flip to the back pylon. They try and throw it in the trash can. That same thing was used there, but Tonyan had to go back, go up over the top of Elliott and make a sensational catch. Big time play.
Second 50-plus reception season for Tonyan. Last year was short-circuited by an ACL injury, but he's become a key part of this offense. Both backs, Jones and Dillon, are in. 29, it is Dillon kicking his way to the right for 4 to the 25-yard line.
It is interesting watching this Detroit Lions defense. They are just so young over there. We talked about Aiden Hutchinson a little bit. Malcolm Rodriguez came in and really just sort of stole their hearts early on in camp, was fantastic, a rookie. Josh Paschal. James Houston came out of nowhere, 8 sacks in his first 6 games. Kirby Joseph. starting at the safety position on the back end. They're young. They want to draft. They want to build through the draft, and they are learning along the way.
24, Rodgers backpedals, surveys, directs, dropped. Everything but A.J. Dillon didn't bring it in. It'll be 3rd and 5.
Yeah, that's about as good as you can do as a quarterback there. Rodgers backfield directing traffic, didn't even put a lot on it. Yeah.
Chris mentioned James Houston, the rookie out of Jackson State, 6th-round pick, used in pass rush situations for the Lions. He's at the bottom of your screen on 3rd and 5.
It looks like man coverage. Anceloni out here on Tunyon.
Rodgers, Hutchinson got him again. Flag down. Aiden Hutchinson, 2 sacks, 9.5, and his 3 picks this year. Let's see, the sack brings them back. What will they do?
Holding. Offense, number 73, 10-yard penalty, 3rd down.
Push them back. Hutchinson's looking over and saying, well, do you want to decline that penalty or push him back to deeper field goal range?
Oh, this was some move. Watch Hutchinson here up the field. He beat him with speed earlier. Now goes with the inside move. There's the grab at the tail end of it. Did not matter. Hutchinson, how excited was he to come over here, play at Lambeau, play in this stadium, and play on Sunday Night Football? He was just jacked up, and it's showing in this first half.
So that was 3rd and 5. I thought the 3rd and 5 was at the 24. In any case, it's back here at the 30-yard line. It's going to be a 48-yard field goal attempt for Crosby. Crosby tries to eke out every yard of it, and he makes the field goal. It's good. So it is 9-3. Hutchinson's pressure got there, but Green Bay still comes away with 3. Sunday Night Football is brought to you by Toyota, let's go places. By H&R Block, it's tax season. By Verizon, the network you deserve, the savings that last. And by Applebee's, now that's eating good, in the neighborhood. Some of the moments, including the Aaron Rodgers to Richard Rodgers miracle in Motown on a Thursday night. Part of the highlights of this matchup dating back to 1930. And Aaron Rodgers has been a big part of that. So many names and players over the years, and it's been a rivalry. Green Bay's dominated 103-74 with 7 ties over the years. Here's Crosby after making his 16th consecutive field goal. Justin Jackson to bring it back. And he'll get out to the 25-yard line. Well, Chris, we talked about Rodgers against the Lions over the years. These 2 states, they border each other up in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, and touching the top of Wisconsin. But in Wisconsin, it's been all Packers, 28-3, best home record in the NFL against one team for a minimum of 20 games. The Lions have had a carousel of quarterbacks, and they've seen for the last 3 decades Favre or Rodgers pretty much.
It's not a pretty sight.
No, it's not. It's why the record's been so lopsided against the Lions, the Bears, the Vikings over the years. This Lions offense tries to get going from the 25. On this night with the temperature in the 20s, to try to run it. It's 1 yard there for Jamal Williams.
For Jared Goff, just 2 of 7 for 18 yards, and honestly, the ball has not been coming out of his hand great. Sometimes you just struggle in these kinds of conditions to throw the ball. You can see gloves on for this game tonight, and it just has not been sharp. Remember, this is a team that has scored 30 or more points 8 times. That's most in the NFL, more than Kansas City, more than Buffalo, more than San Francisco.
Goff throws. This one is low. Let's see if that's a catch or not at the 34-yard line. For the moment, it's ruled a catch. It would be 3rd and a half yard. And the Lions sending some big personnel in.
Yeah, but it doesn't seem like it's coming out a little funny.
Totally,
it's just not sharp. I mean, that's one of those throws should have been easily caught with space to turn around and go pick up the first down.
James Mitchell, the rookie with that catch, his 11th. Lions bringing some big bodies, including Matt Nelson, the extra offensive lineman, Jason Kabinda, the fullback. And they'll go trick and throw for Jamison Williams, who caught it. The rookie is going. Williams all the way home. Touchdown for the Lions. But there's a flag down. And it's coming back.
Holding. Offense. Number 67. 10-yard penalty. Third down.
And it's Nelson, the extra lineman who was in the game, erasing what would have been the long play to the Lions' first-round pick.
Not much doubt about it here. You're going to go right there. Watch this on the tail end of this. As he tried to spin out, the takedown, good call.
Jaron Reed was the man who got inside of Nelson. So instead of a touchdown to tie the game, everybody in Seattle says darn or something like that. And it's 3rd and 10. And Goff will swing it out. Long way for Justin Jackson to go. But he got there for the first down. Jackson splitting the two defenders. And the former Charger keeps this drive going.
That was a phrase I heard about 1,000 times playing in Cincinnati. Split the defenders. When there's two guys there, if you can go right between them, they can neither one get leverage to hit you. Work perfectly.
On the first down, it's a give inside, and Jackson will gain 2 yards. It sounds hard to do. You get two guys coming and taking an angle at you.
It really is, but it's the soft spot of not getting hit because they can't go into each other.
Right, okay.
And you do. Oftentimes you will split right between them, but I would like to see number 9, Jamison Williams, back on the field again.
Right.
That was something. When he hits the Jets, it really is something. And I think, Mike, what they can do is, with all the zones that Green Bay plays, put them in the game, send them down the middle of the field, clear some middle field zones, and I think you'll get some easy throws.
Goff throws. This one is brought in, not by Williams, but by Josh Reynolds at the 46-yard line of Green Bay. And Goff settling in a little bit here. Gain of 16. First down.
There comes Williams back out. Watch this route here. This is run up to Douglas, turn around, and then break in front of his face and catch the ball. I think Douglas thought that thing was coming straight to him.
Yep.
That takes a lot of courage and a lot of practice for your quarterback to make that throw, where basically you're throwing it right at the cornerback.
Reynolds, his former teammate with the Rams. Run here with Williams. Big opening for Williams for 9. And something you talked about all week getting ready for this game, Chris. You love this Detroit offensive line.
No question about it. And, Mike, they can do just about anything. Watch the power play here where they come down to block this linebacker. If I can make that thing erase, there you go. It's a cold night for the telestrator up here as well. So, but they do. They have outside zones, inside zones, pull schemes, gap schemes. They do everything in their run game.
Second and 1. Goff pressured, lost the ball as well, but fell back on it. Devontae Wyatt, the other first-round rookie out of Georgia, gets his first full sack in the National Football League.
Devontae Wyatt, I was wondering when this was going to start happening for this young man. Getting a chance now with Dean Lowry out to play a lot more. He is an electric guy coming off the line of scrimmage. I can remember watching him play so often in college. A lot of quickness. I thought he was going to be a really good 3 technique inside. Just haven't seen it yet.
Third and 6, and they choose to run, and they'll get the first down with DeAndre Swift to the 31-yard line. This team runs on 3rd and long a bunch, and Swift gets them the first down.
A great play call right here. You're going to end up with these wide edges here, so why not? Let's run a trap and just take out that wide technique and it's an easy first down. Nicely done that time on offense by Ben Johnson. Good call.
Cabinda, the fullback, is in front of Williams. Play action, Goff looking deep. Everything's covered, so he just tries to get rid of it in the neighborhood of Cabinda, the fullback, so no grounding and second down.
The Lions have been running the football effectively, so the Packers now come back with their 5-man front up there and try and put the ball in the hands of Jared Goff and say, let's see what he can do beating us throwing the ball.
I'm laughing because I was watching Jameson Williams walk back saying, come on, throw me the ball. He got past the safety again. That speed you talked about, he's been in there a few times. Joe Barry on the right's the defensive coordinator. Ben Johnson on the left, the offensive coordinator. Barry used to be the defensive guy with the Lions. Swift trying to get to the edge. Not going to get there. Darnell Savage. What a story he has been this year. Benched, position moved, but impactful late.
Darnell Savage outside, but it was Jaron Reed who made the play inside. Watch this move right here. They've got an inside handoff, and there stands number 90. He couldn't get to the 9 side or the 0 side, so he went outside and got savaged.
This is outside of field goal range in all likelihood on this night. It would be 53 yards from here. Lions need 14 for a first down. Goff throws. They'll get some of it with Swift to the 28. So a field goal will be 46. We'll see if Badgley will come on or the Lions will go for it. They go for it on fourth down as much as anyone in the NFL the last 2 years. But instead they'll send on Badgley.
I think it's the right call for a lot of reasons, but the longer the Lions stay in this game, the more the pressure really shifts to the Green Bay Packers here. And they've already won once in that type of game in Detroit. So I think the Lions and Dan Campbell very comfortable here if they can just keep it close to the fourth quarter.
From 46, Badgley missed it, left. Had the distance, but missed it to the left. So the Lions have their best drive of the night. Come away with nothing. The Pack leads by 6.
No.
No? Would you?
I like some things iced with my fish.
From the 36-yard line, Rodgers on a boot finds Christian Watson, who's got a ton of space. Got away from a man, out of bounds right around midfield. The confidence of Christian Watson continued to show. Gain of 15 and a first down.
Don't you think that first 3-touchdown game just, I mean, you could almost see that young man just start breathing again. He had the talent. They knew of the talent that he had. But once that confidence started to kick in, and once Aaron started to believe in him, and once he was able to start having conversations, remember he missed most of camp and all the early part, and so he didn't get a lot of the developmental, but man, did he explode late in the year.
Samori Toure in motion, 1st and 10. And we get a whistle here, and the Packers take a timeout as the play clock was running down. 5.5 to go, and down to the field, here's Melissa.
Mike, I talked to Christian Watson about how his relationship with Aaron Rodgers has evolved. Watson said it was difficult at first, trying not to let Rodgers down. But now he doesn't just think, oh, I'm playing with Aaron Rodgers. He thinks of him as a teammate. And Watson even went as far to say, I know he had a special connection with now Raider wide receiver Davante Adams. And he said, I think that connection is possible with me. I do everything I can to get open for him.
Well, Chris, you talk about what Melissa was talking about, the relationship with Rodgers. Sometimes when you have success on the field, it makes that relationship go right away, and he didn't.
Yeah, but I can remember playing with Kenny Anderson, and he was a decade plus older than I was, too. It's always an interesting relationship when you're trying to develop that.
With Watson in motion, faking a little push pass to him. Aaron Jones runs into the waiting arms of the Lions defense, and Benito Jones again will be second down coming up. Here's the first play of the season on offense for Green Bay. Rodgers, home run shot. Watson's got it. Didn't get it. and that led to some other drops. Even that Dallas game you talked about, the 3 touchdowns, he had a couple of drops there, right?
Yeah, but that was his bugaboo coming out of college. He was a burner, and he did great, but look at what he's done since week 9. He has just exploded and become a real possibility for Offensive Rookie of the Year this year.
2nd and 10. Corner blitz picked up. Rodgers slides it to Tunyon. Gain of 4. Hutchinson dropping back to make the tackle. And it'll be 3rd and 5 coming up with 4.5 remaining in this first half. Green Bay win and in the playoffs. Lions win or a tie, and Seattle will be playing San Francisco on Wild Card Weekend.
Boy, that was a big missed field goal, wasn't it?
Oh, huge.
I mean, because the Lions were getting some momentum going. They finally had a drive and a little confidence going. You go, all right, it's going to be a 3-point game, and now you're turning it back over to Rodgers with a chance here before the half to stretch it out.
See Zach Tom, number 50 at right tackle. He's in for Josh Nijman. Aiden Hutchinson got past Nijman a couple of times in this first half. A whistle on 3rd and 5. Play clock ran out.
Offense. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
It's a couple of times here on this drive. LaFleur had to take one to avoid a delay of game a few plays ago.
Well, I tell you, you got into Zach Tom a minute ago, number 50 out there playing the right tackle position, and he has just been something for this team. He has basically played every offensive line position except center and really played it at a high level. Yet when you look at him, when you watch tape on him, his legs just look skinnier than everybody else's up there, but very athletic in space and can stay in front of some of those great pass rushers on the edge.
Empty backfield, Lions bring a blitz, throw it underneath. Tunyon not going to get there. Good job by Detroit. Mike Hughes comes up to make the play at the 45-yard line. It's 4th and 6. Rodgers kind of looking over to LaFleur. They've already gone for their own side of midfield this half.
Even jumping off sides doesn't get it done this time. Still don't want to jump off sides with Aaron Rodgers.
4th and 6, they'll take a look at it. Oh, got him. It's the rookie, free play Rodgers. He's the best at it. Downfield, incomplete. It will not be a first down. It's going to be 4th and 1. That's James Houston, the rookie.
Neutral zone infraction. Defense number 95. 5-yard penalty. Still 4th down.
Playing his 7th game. Let's listen to it.
I bet you there are even a few people on the couch that jumped. I mean, how many people has he got? You literally you cringe. You want, and you know Dan Campbell, he sat down all the rookies, and so look, here's what he's going to do. They practiced it all week. They've been talking about it, and yet you get a chance to go sack Aaron Rodgers, and you can't help yourself.
And so instead of 4th and 6, you see the opportunities run or pass on 4th and 1. Dillon inside, got it, first down. Mike Hughes came to chop him down. Dillon got past him, and the drive stays alive with 2.5 till the half.
We talk about a lot of people, but let's just spend 1 minute out here on Mercedes Lewis. He has been such a key element of this run game. So much of what they do are those outside zone runs, and basically all they do is go, all right, just run right at Mercedes Lewis. If he takes his guy inside, you go outside, outside, inside. Just follow whatever number 89 does.
Let's take us to the 2-minute warning. Aaron tried to grab a free 5 there. Did not. With a little wry look on that old face. 9-3 Green Bay. Toyota halftime back in the studio with Maria, Tony, and Jason. The Bills-inspired performance against New England, and of course the full playoff picture. I know we were getting ready for the game, but you had to stop and watch everything, and just everything that was that football and the great connection of players, teams, coaches, fans we have seen on display over the last couple of days.
And DeMar, if you're still watching football, we're all thinking and praying for you back there in tremendous city of Cincinnati, who really opened up their hearts to him so much, and they turned the town blue for the Buffalo Bills. And oh my gosh, we were all just heartsick all week long. We're so happy you're doing better.
And uplifted the last couple of days, and hope to continue to be. First and 10 for the Packers with the 2-minute warning. Inside run will be Aaron Jones. Get out to the 32-yard line. The Lions get the ball to start the second half. So that penalty and the Packers keeping the ball here is going to keep Detroit from getting it at the end of the half and trying to double down here and get back in the game.
It's just workmanlike, right? When you see one of these veteran quarterbacks working the clock here at the end, and now they're back in the huddle. They know exactly what the timeout situation is, when they have to press it, not wanting to give the ball back to the Lions. It's just the difference sometimes a veteran quarterback can bring.
From the 32, Aaron Jones in the flat, got a good block downfield from Tunney, but lost the football, and it is recovered by the Lions. Will Harris jumped on it. John Kaminsky knocked it free, and Detroit comes away with it. The ball was bouncing, looked like it might have gone out of bounds. So one thing we'll have to check in replay was anybody a foot out of bounds as they touch the ball. For the moment, it looks good. The hit to knock it free by Kaminsky. Oh, yeah. Lions come up with it. Fifth fumble of the year for Aaron Jones. It stays Lions ball as we looked at it in replay. Chris?
Yeah, watch the play right here by Aleem McNeil. He knows that Robert Tonyan is trying to touch that ball while he has a foot out of bounds. A, he never touched it. B, he didn't have anything out of bounds, so it would have been fine. But you're talking about a guy that understands the rules. Had Tonyan got his foot out of bounds and touched the ball, that ball would have been out of bounds, Green Bay Packers ball.
There's the number on Jones, and Terry McCauley reminds us from the studio that even though Tonyan was out of bounds, he had a body part other than a hand inbounds when he came back, and that's reestablishing. So he was once again inbounds in that situation. Lions have all three timeouts. They get the ball, start the second half, and Goff starts the drive to Khalif Raymond for 5 to the 20-yard line. And they'll try to push the issue here and see if they can get on the board before the break.
Lions have nothing to lose here, right?
That's right.
And I think you'll see a more aggressive style at them throughout the game.
Great point. Goff's throw here.
Oh,
it's Darnell Savage channeling your comment. Incomplete.
Yeah, I hear you, Darnell. You got me, don't you? Yeah, that was some play. And you have to be a little happy for Darnell Savage, right? Here's a guy that got benched, and then he got hurt. He lost his safety job. He lost his slot corner job. But he earned his way back through special teams, and he has made some big plays here tonight.
And he's a first-round pick as well. So the Packers may get the ball right back. It's 3rd and 5. Amon-Ra St. Brown on the move. Goff going that way. Got him for a first down at the 36-yard line. That's the 23rd third down play this year that has gone to a first down because of a St. Brown catch.
Yeah, and this is the interesting part. Can they get great slot play out of Darnell Savage? Now, he did play a bit of this in college, so he's comfortable doing it. But you've got your #1 receiver in Amon-Ra St. Brown with over 100 catches now on the season. So that matchup is one to continue to watch tonight.
DeAndre Swift, the back. Goff retreats. Here's Swift. Ragnow, the center, out there to block for him. Only a gain of 3 as he goes out of bounds on the sideline. 41 seconds left. Lions still have all 3 timeouts.
It's interesting to watch Frank Ragnow, the center, out in front of that play, captain of the team, and a guy who may well be headed to surgery after this season, but basically he's just sucked it up the entire year, played on a bad foot. Liz Frank a year ago, but refuses to come out, and he is a dynamic leader of this football team. Got that wide gap rush again.
2nd and 7. Goff underneath, caught to the 40-yard line. Heavy hit on Khalif Raymond, who has been busy but effective tonight. Detroit takes its first timeout with 35 to go, and we're back in 30 seconds after this from AWS.
Ever watch an unbelievable catch and think, that's impossible? AWS analyzes millions of data points with machine learning and AI from every ball and every player at every angle. So when that catch gets hauled in, we're there to tell you it's not impossible. It's just incredible. If AWS can do that for the NFL's data, imagine what it could do for your business.
Some in Seattle were disappointed that the game here and the Seahawks game were not played at the same time. I'm trying to tell people all week, there is one team that's not going to lay down against the Packers, no matter what's at stake. It's Dan Campbell and the Lions. Quay Walker bringing the heat there. It's thrown to DeAndre Swift to the 46-yard line, and they'll use the second of the 3 timeouts here with 29 seconds remaining.
A lot of different things happening now defensively here. They're going to fake a blitz here and then back out and then end up blitzing on the other side with Quay Walker. They would rather have Quay Walker be the guy that is blitzing, but they'll flash something on the other side with Devondre Campbell. Just a lot of very interesting things. I mean, Joe Barry's defense, I don't think has gotten enough credit really for what they've done this season. This has not been the type of year that we're used to seeing out of Aaron Rodgers and the offensive side of the ball. And yet it's been this defense, especially over those last 4 games, with all those turnovers, really turned this season around.
And Joe's the Lions defensive coordinator. They were last in the league in points back-to-back years. Joe Barry's shown to be a good coach over the years. Pressure comes. Swift inside, made a man miss, has the first down, on the move to the 36-yard line. A gain of 19 with 21 seconds left, and the clock continues to turn. And down to 12 seconds, trying to maintain that last timeout. They run out of time here. Down to 8. Goff got to get rid of it quick in the middle. It's incomplete. Trying to get it to Brock Wright, the tight end. So now we're down to 5 seconds left and outside of field goal range. May have been better served using that timeout before that play.
I mean, you know what they were thinking. They were going to get a cheap completion there and be able to use the timeout. So it's not a bad strategy. You just have to hit the pass.
There is a long list over the last couple of years of not the best time management for the Lions.
I'll tell you, could be one of those plays where you just throw it 5 yards down the field, get down, burn the timeout.
And Green Bay is going to come up with their strategy.
Green Bay.
Each team with 1 timeout left, but only 5 seconds to go. We started talking about it a moment ago. The Seattle folks were disappointed that these games were not simultaneous, but I don't know what you think, but I don't think we're seeing Detroit give any less if they were alive or now that they know they're eliminated.
I'm not sure what would mean more to them. Well, that's a stupid comment, but clearly they'd like to go to the playoffs, but they would love to knock the Green Bay Packers out and would love to have a winning record this season. As a matter of fact, Dan Campbell told the guys, don't even pay attention to the game.
Well, you heard what he said to Melissa at the end of the quarter, right?
Right.
And what if we got an emotion out of somebody? I feel like you guys are looking in on us here. Got 5 seconds left. Goff, the quick throw. Down quickly at the 29 is St. Brown. Exactly what you said, Chris. So they do it in 3 seconds, and they shorten up the field goal to a 47-yard attempt here.
Yeah, it's a good job. They also had sort of the tight end out there as almost a lead blocker to sort of a running pick, so they could run it right in behind him but still have time to get down.
So the miss was from 46 earlier. This is going to be 48 officially, as St. Brown was marked down to the 30-yard line. Michael Badgley signed him week 7, 3rd kicker for the Lions this year. The guy who likes to go by the nickname of the Money Badger. Let's see.
What was that?
I don't know. I don't know if a timeout was taken, but a flag was thrown in all of it.
I mean, you had Rasul Douglas come in and basically grab the football.
There were whistles first, but then Douglas came to mess with the ball.
Right in here.
The whistles were going at this time as the official was coming in.
Did they call a timeout?
I don't know, but it's certainly Douglas. There were whistles blowing when Douglas came in to touch the ball. Flag came after all of that.
Personal foul. Defense, number 29. 15-yard penalty. First down.
Every week I say I've never seen that before, and I get to do it again. I have never seen that before. I have no idea what happened right there. He looked over at the sideline. He looked over at the sideline and then walked in and did that.
Yeah. But that's not where the flag came. The flag comes after this in the pushing amongst the players.
I think that Douglas, after he got pushed, see if he stayed on that and turned around and pushed into the face mask, so he gets a little shove from Skipper there. Now, as he turned around.
So LaFleur had called the timeout. Anyway, here's the live field goal. Badgley knocks it through, and it's 9-6 with a 33-yarder. The penalty on Douglas definitely came after he touched the ball, as you were talking about, Chris, in that scrum. You were dead on that. So that's where the flag came. It made it easier. Detroit gets the ball to start the second half. It is 9-6 as they watch in Seattle. We go back to the studio to Maria, Tony Jason, Toyota Halftime.
Tonight's first half highlights are brought to you by Chevrolet.
Welcome to Lambeau Field, Green Bay, Wisconsin. Temperature is 24. Win and in for Green Bay, and off we go. It's Lazard, and he's stopped. Anzalone was all over it. As Hutchinson chases him and gets him.
How about that?
Robert Tonyan, terrific grab. Got him again. Hutchinson, 2 sacks.
Chevrolet. Find new roads.
Final half of the regular season and then the postseason, and one spot remains. It'll be Green Bay or Seattle. Right now, Green Bay leads by 3. Hutchinson, couple of sacks. So he's the 4th player since they started officially tracking sacks, with 9.5 sacks and 3 interceptions. Not just rookies, any player. Some big names there. Packers offense, no touchdown first half of both games against the Lions this year. They were limited to 9 points total in the game at Ford Field. And Green Bay win and in and go to Santa Clara to play the 49ers on Wild Card Weekend, Super Wild Card Weekend. And everyone in Seattle is rooting for the Honolulu blue and silver of the Detroit Lions. Lions win or a tie, and Seattle will go to the postseason.
Yeah, how about Pete Carroll's team anyway? I mean, at the beginning of the year, nobody was picking Seattle to go to the playoffs.
9-8, dramatic finish. Game to overtime to beat the Rams in Seattle. This kickoff is going to be short and returned from the 5-yard line by Shane Zylstra, the tight end, across the 25. And Melissa spoke with Matt LaFleur coming out of halftime.
Matt, Dan Campbell told me at the end of the first quarter that their main motivation is to keep you guys from going to the playoffs. What did you tell your guys at halftime?
Well, hey, we got 30 more minutes. We're in a brawl right now, a street fight. Whoever wants it more is going to win the game. And we got to go out there, play smart, play discipline, and ultimately got to execute.
No touchdowns yet for you tonight. What's it going to take to get in the end zone?
Well, when we got to do a better job blocking movement when we get down there. We had a couple of miscues, and then you got to capitalize. We can't have drops. Obviously, we had a turnover right there before or in that 2-minute drive, and just, you know, we got to finish.
Thanks, Matt.
Yeah, thanks, Melissa.
All right, Melissa, thank you. First down, Jared Goff throw, the slant incomplete, as it was intended for DJ Chark, the wide receiver.
You know, Mike, if the Green Bay Packers do not make the playoffs, they may well look back to what they did in plus territory in the red zone against this Detroit Lions team in 2 games as the reason, right? Yeah. Clearly in the first game, that was the difference, and so far in the first half of this game, it's been the difference as well.
Second down for Goff. Protected, nothing open. Not a big runner. Takes off here. He'll slide down around the 31-yard line.
I mean, this is just crazy to watch the protection of this offensive line. And as I watched this team getting ready for the game, there were times that you just found yourself sort of giggling And I still think there's an opportunity if they bring in a Jamison Williams and just run him down the middle of the field and stand back in that pocket a little bit longer, you're going to find some big holes in those zones.
Williams, the rookie wide receiver, playing his 6th game, not on the field here. It's 3rd and 5. Goff throws low and incomplete. Shark, I was going to say he caught it, but he's a yard short of the first down. Shark's got it at the 34, 1 shy of the first down. I thought it was incomplete on live look. Let's take another look at it.
I tell you, Jared's low throws, though, in these key situations are really hurting them.
They are. He has not been sharp on this.
I mean, that's a catch and run. That is a throw it beneath the sticks. And it really doesn't matter at that point.
That was a catch. He brought it in, got that hand underneath. So it's 4th and 2. The Lions will just punch it away here with Fox, who gets run into, but there's no flag for that. Keyshawn Nixon from the 15 will be brought down to the 25-yard line. A return of 10. C.J. Moore leading the special teams of the Lions. 3 and out to start. Rodgers has it right around his own 25.
All right, let's take a look at our next gen stats powered by AWS, and it's all about Aiden Hutchinson. When he was over on David Bakhtiari's side, pretty much a non-factor. A lot of people non-factor when they go against Bakhtiari. On the other side, though, against Josh Nijman, he was a definite factor. A couple of sacks. As a matter of fact, they ended up taking Nijman out of the game, putting in Zach Tom. It has been the Aiden Hutchinson show here in the first half. He was fired up to come to Lambeau. He was fired up for Sunday Night Football, and he has been firing on Aaron Rodgers.
He's always fired up. Let's see which side he'll go to here. Over by Bakhtiari. The defense is right, the offense is left. Drive start from the 25 for the Pack. And Rodgers on 1st down. Rolling, looking deep, everything covered. So Aaron will take off. He'll scoot out of bounds at the 30 and pick up 5.
They've been doing a lot of the bootleg off of that outside zone, but not quite as much of the outside zone running game as I thought we might see. So this is really the 2nd game in a row in which we've seen the run stopping ability of the Lions be enough of a factor that the Packers haven't been able to dominate with their run game.
31 inside Jones. Good spin, Aaron Jones. Across the 40 and trying to break to the secondary. Kirby Joseph, the rookie, holds on to him. 1st down at the 48. Pick up a 17 for a guy who loves life.
All right, let's focus in on Zach Tom a little bit. This down block right here, and this is an athletic guy. You can see it, and you go, okay, big deal. What did he do? Well, he kept his feet moving, and he kept his feet in position to maintain that block and to give Aaron Jones just enough room, and Aaron Jones is a finisher.
Career high in terms of yards this season for Jones. Will not get out of that tackle. Aleem McNeil, 3rd round pick for the Lions a couple of years ago. He started every game on the interior for Detroit this year.
That time, Zach Tom could not catch Aleem McNeil as all that started going to Tom's left right here. Just couldn't catch up.
Fans getting a little frustrated, trying to urge their team on. They know this is the last game at Lambeau no matter what happens. They're chanting, "Go Pack, go." This is Green Bay. These people know football. A bunch of other people going, "Shh, quiet, keep it down."
Maybe it was the Lions fans chanting it.
There are some here. Over on that opposite side. 2nd and 10. Rodgers throws to Lazard. Alan Lazard with a 1st down to the 38-yard line of the Lions.
We've pretty much seen this all year, haven't we? That anytime that Aaron Rodgers gets a little frustrated, he just needs a little 13-18 in his life.
2 places.
Yeah, just a little 13-18 in his life, and eventually one of those 2 guys will get him settled down, and then he'll go find one of the rookies again, and Dobbs or Watson or one of those guys.
Lazard and Cobb, real comfort there. It was Devontae Adams for so often over the last half dozen years. Now just throwing a back shoulder here or there. The 37, little pitch. Jones on the edge, chased by Hutchinson. Taken down, gain of 4, and Aaron Glenn's right over there. Pushing his defensive end, along with Mike Hughes on the tackle.
It's a really nice play by Hutchinson. Sometimes you have to go inside to get back outside. He had to do a little arm over to the inside of that block and still had the athleticism to turn and run him down. You saw it. He didn't turn and directly try to chase him. He retreated and knew that he was going to have to cut him off. It's exactly what he did.
Empty backfield, 2nd and 7. Lions drop a lineman. This is Jones, and it's broken up. What a play by Kirby Joseph. The 3rd-round pick out of Illinois, the rookie, who picked Rodgers twice in the first meeting. Almost had him again.
That rookie is having a day and a night against Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers has to be frustrated. I think when he let that one go, he thought he had it. And I tell you, Aaron Jones is every bit the wide receiver on that outside as well. Just a great defensive play.
Field goal from here is 53 yards. Tough in these conditions. 3rd and 7. Lions bring 4. Rodgers out quick, and Romeo Doubs cannot make the catch on the move. Now let's see what Matt LaFleur is going to do. They're going to try the field goal. So one more time, a drive into Detroit territory. 5 drives tonight, no touchdowns. 8 drives at Ford Field, just 1 touchdown and the 3 turnovers. So Crosby, who hit the long one, launches these low. The Lions have a good push on their field goal block unit. Crosby from 53 to make the lead 6. Got it up high. Is it long enough? Hit the crossbar again. This week it doesn't go in. Last week against the Vikings, it was like the crossbar was greased. It slid off and went through for a field goal from 56. Tonight from 3 closer, off the crossbar. And not in. Green Bay's lead is still 3. Selleck, who made the Old English D worn by the Detroit Tigers famous as he wore it throughout the years. That Old English D, it's been on the Tigers hat since 1904. From the 43 on 1st down, it's Williams bouncing to the outside. There goes the former Packer into Green Bay territory at the 44-yard line and a 1st down.
We told you about all the different runs. Well, here comes a little bit of the double team now, and then the bounce out around the double team. So they can play power football inside, they can play zone football outside. But right now, because of that missed field goal and the great field position, the Detroit Lions are in business, and they just have to put something together. This has been a tremendous offense this year. They need to wake up.
Goff out of the pocket, taking a shot downfield, and free is Raymond. Raymond caught it down inside the 1. Khalif Raymond with a huge play, and the Lions are on the doorstep of taking the lead.
That counts as a wake up. Go down. Now you just want the safety to blink to his right on the outside, and then you use that great speed of the returner to get back outside. Just enough of a flinch, and a great throw that time by Goff. Watch a little nod to the outside, just enough to get him to lean, flip his hips around, and that was all.
So close to being in. 1st and goal, Williams to the right, to the end zone, to the lead. Detroit Lions touchdown. And he ties Barry Sanders for the most rushing touchdowns in a season by a Lion, albeit one more game this year, but Detroit is on top.
Watch the way they isolate the defensive back. Bring across Jonah Jackson, the big guard, and that's a look you do not want to see if you're Rasul Douglas. Right at you. You'll get the feel of what Douglas saw, and he said no thanks.
Sweet for Williams upon his return to Lambeau. 2nd year with the Lions. What a year he's had. Big extra point. Badgley knocks it in. The lead is 4. So one of the stories tonight, the most targeted receiver for the Lions, Khalif Raymond, brought it all the way down. Jamal Williams took it in. And Detroit Rock City's team is up 4.
Welcome back to Lambeau. Lions running back Jamal Williams with the touchdown before the break. I talked to Lions Hall of Fame running back Barry Sanders about him. He said you couldn't ask for much more from a running back. Sanders likes the power and the vision that Williams runs with, that he's always moving forward, the way he breaks tackles. On possibly breaking Sanders' franchise record of 16 rushing touchdowns, Sanders said, I think that would be great. It gives people a chance to look back and be reminded of my career.
And that's worth remembering. He was one of the greats of all time. Go to YouTube, Barry Sanders highlights are just eye-opening. Williams has had many this year. Barry Sanders back in the fold and very much around the Detroit football team during the year. Keyshawn Nixon from inside the 5. Tries to string it to the outside, well covered by Dave Phipps, special teams. Back to the 17-yard line.
All right, let's take a look at the Walmart Plus 4K Skycam. Love doing this. Let's get inside the game with some of the big guys. Isaiah Buggs, early on, remember this first drive? It looked like the Packers were going right down to score, and he made back-to-back plays to hold it to a field goal. He continued his outstanding play up the field. The unsung hero, maybe, so far of the Detroit Lions, Mr. Isaiah Buggs.
So 8 minutes left here in the third, Chris. The Packers have not scored a touchdown. We just had the game's first touchdown. And now they got to pull something together here. Must win to go to the playoffs. The 17-yard line, Rodgers pulls it back. Chased, got rid of it in the direction of Dillon as Aleem McNeil was coming after Aaron.
I tell you, Aleem McNeil is no joke inside. I watched a highlight reel of him. He has a way of laying a little wiggle on these guards sometimes, and I think he's so big you don't expect him to have that kind of quickness inside, but you can see him running down Aaron Rodgers on that one. And right now it's the Green Bay Packers who need something out of the future Hall of Famer and Aaron Rodgers. Sometimes your great players just have to make great plays.
17, straight drop. Rodgers, pocket collapsing, what a throw there. Got it to Lazard to the 24-yard line. Under duress was Rodgers, and he found Lazard a couple shy of the first down.
Well, it wasn't perfect, but Hutchinson this time out there working against Zach Tom, and Tom got just enough for Aaron to step up and around, and you could see how close Hutchinson came to knocking that ball out.
Packers third down tonight. Not very good. They go quick here on 3rd and 3, and Rodgers throws for Lazard. Hangs on for the first down at the 29-yard line in front of Mike Hughes.
They got up to the line of scrimmage and went fast, and you could see the Lions were just a little unsettled. Linebackers still crisscrossing and across the formation, and just enough for Lazard to be able to sneak in and pick up that first down.
Lazard's third catch on the night. 3 Packers with 3 catches. 3 straight years in the playoffs for Green Bay. Trying to win to make it 4. From the 30, Rodgers. Jones underneath. Cannot get away from the tackle. Jerry Jacobs. Second year out of Arkansas. Last second year, a lot of rookie players. Young, rebuilding Lions defense.
One of the problems when you have a guy like Hutchinson who gets hot is you have to leave extra blockers in there to get him. And you go, big deal, that doesn't matter. Well, it does matter, because instead of getting 4 guys out in the route, instead of getting 5 out, you get 4 out. So it just takes away a receiver when a pass rusher gets hot the way that Hutchinson has.
The 34, Lazard's blocking him here as Aaron Jones tries to get to the edge, and he gets near the 40-yard line. Thrown down by Derek Barnes, the second-year linebacker out of Purdue. Check the mark very close to the line. He moved it back just a hair. And you hear the fans react as The down judge put it on the 40-yard line, then moved it back inside the 40 to set up third down.
We talked about Lazard, the receiver, but sometimes takes a special wide receiver to go inside and block somebody like Aiden Hutchinson, and he got the job done on that one.
So we set up third and inches. Rodgers sneaking to keep it for the first down. It is a must-win game, so you're seeing Aaron on the move, Aaron with the sneaks here. It's all chips in the middle. First down at the 41.
Yeah, it really meant a lot to him in our conversation that he goes out a winner in a meaningful game against this football team. And he knew what they had to do 4 weeks ago to have this game be meaningful. And he's taking it personally. You can tell he's taking this team on his back right now.
Zaiguara came back to blocked Hutchinson. Rodgers deep ball for Christian Watson. Down the sideline. Watson, did he bring it in? A flag is down and he caught it anyway. At the 14-yard line. Gain of 45.
Result of the play is a completed pass. Pass interference, number 24. That penalty is declined. First down.
First of all, that ball was launched. Secondly, if Watson held on to that ball with his other arm basically being pinned against the defensive back, tackling him.
Crazy.
I'm just telling you, sometimes these guys do things that I just shake my head. We didn't do that many moons ago.
100-yard game for Watson. Third of the year. Here they are in the red zone. Can they score in the red zone on the Lions? From the 14, Jones left. 2 yards. Isaiah Buggs and Benito Jones. Aaron Jones gets up slowly here.
It was interesting. We were talking to Dan Campbell about their focus on stopping the running game. He said, look, if Aaron Jones gets going and opens up the candy shop for Aaron Rodgers, we're dead,
yeah,
right? There's no way. And so basically all we have to do is stop the run and then hope we make plays against him in the passing game.
The 13, Rodgers faking. Throwing, back of the end zone, Lazard! Touchdown, Green Bay! And the Packers drive down the field and take the lead.
Sometimes it's the tackle with the key block, sometimes it's the guard. It helps if your guard is a former tackle. Elton Jenkins just held up. The protection was perfect. And sometimes, Mike, you just need a little 13, a little 18 in your life, and you got a big dose of 13 on that drive.
Lions getting sorted, so Mason Crosby's got an easy shot at it and knocks it through. Well, the two Cal Bear quarterbacks said, let's go. Let's score some touchdowns here. This game comes alive. Respond to the Lions score with Christian Watson. Amazing catch. Back line, Lazard running. Rodgers finds him. Pack's got to win it. Pack's back on top by 3. Get interesting, so look forward to seeing that Tuesday night. 3:17 to go here at Lambeau, third quarter. Pack by 3. Again, a short kickoff that is returned by the up man, Shane Zylstra, the tight end, pushing the block forward to the 31-yard line. Chris, I want to take you back to April 23rd, 2005. Jared Goff is 10 years old. He's grown up in Northern California. He's a 49ers fan. He's a Cal Bear fan, too, because both of his parents were Berkeley alums. And the quarterback at the time was Aaron Rodgers at Cal. So Jared's playing a Little League game that day. The Niners have the first pick. He plays the game, expects to come off the field and say, my favorite team, the Niners, drafted the college quarterback of my parents' alma mater. Well, we know that Alex Smith was taken first. Jared was crushed. He's become friends with both Smith and Rodgers since. but he wants to beat Aaron and knock him out of the playoffs here tonight.
Yeah, he put that gracefully, didn't he?
Yes, he did. I cleaned it up for America in prime time. Williams the run for 4 or 5. This is an interesting time for Goff, isn't it?
It really is. And I think that, you know, he's had so many ups. You know, he gets drafted. He's the first overall pick, and things go so well. They go to the Super Bowl very quickly. And then all of a sudden it went the other way, and he was traded. He was actually in Cabo when he got the word, believe it or not, that Stafford and he had been traded. He comes here. They have a terrible year. Now he's on the upswing, and I think they're going to keep him.
The 36-yard line, play action here. Goff's second-level throw is incomplete. In and out of the hands of Josh Reynolds, one of his teammates when he was with the Rams, and that'll bring up a 3rd down for Detroit.
Yeah, you got to make that catch right there. That was a great throw. See him on the outside there. Jamison Williams, not a lot of time on task. Missed so much at camp. Just couldn't come up with it.
Thank you. It was Williams, not Reynolds there. It's 3rd and 5 coming up. Packers bring pressure. Goff bounces it to the ground, incomplete. Quay Walker bringing heat one more time, and it's a quick 3 and out for Detroit.
Yeah, that time they brought both inside linebackers in that crisscross blitz. Going to come here, and then they dropped out the edge player on the outside. So still a 5-man rush, pretty well blocked on the inside, but Walker got there just close enough to force his punt.
As usual, high average Jack Fox in kicking. This one's shorter, it's 43 yards. Nixon on the run, looking to cut it back. He's tackled, the ball comes out, and the Packers seem to be right on it. Big hit on Keyshawn Nixon as that ball came free. But it bounces, fortunately for Green Bay, to Corey Ballantyne, who was waiting. Or check that, it's Keyshawn Nixon getting it knocked out, and Ballantyne the recovery.
Holy smokes. Now, was he down? I couldn't tell, but that is some play by Ballantyne. And, Mike, you remember when I was telling you we were watching the tape of the first game between these two?
Yep.
And it seemed like the ball bounced up in the air like so many times when they were playing the Lions. And the Lions got all of them.
Yes.
In this game so far, that was maybe the play of the game, and that finally went the Green Bay Packers' way.
Officials are holding up the Packers in the reset of the play clock for a second. Trying to get the ball spotted. Meantime, you see Rasul Douglas go over to Keyshawn Nixon. And they're just finding the right spot.
The receiver's knee was down at the 26-yard line. 1st down.
We should point out Keyshawn Nixon was not the main kick returner. He has become that and given this team a lift. A long kickoff return in Miami, a touchdown return last week. He had been covering kicks and blocking for kicks, but has become a huge factor and very popular on this team. And in fact, Aaron Rodgers said it's been a huge difference in this run to the playoffs. Toss to Aaron Jones. Cuts back, brought down at the 31-yard line. And the flag comes in for the horse collar.
Holding.
No.
Offense. Number 69. 10-yard penalty. 1st down.
That's about a 25-yard difference from where I thought it was going to be. There's Bakhtiari right out on the outside, 69. Yeah, you can see the tug as he tried to go back the other way.
Yep, that's good because that's on the number. It's not on the nameplate or inside. So that works out okay. It's no horse collar tackle.
Now's when the Detroit Lions defensively have to have that play.
And they have Amani Oruwariye in at corner at the bottom of the screen. First and 20. Rodgers looking deep, throwing deep. Underneath, it's intercepted. Unbelievable for Kirby Joseph. He picked off Rodgers for the 3rd time this year, but there's a flag down back by the quarterback. And this might come back. Long discussion here after the flag was thrown.
I didn't see Rodgers get hit after the play.
Something that before the interception. There's a lip reading with the umpire and the referee conversation.
Illegal use of hands to the face. Defense, number 79. 5-yard penalty and automatic first down.
Wow, so John Kaminsky called for that. It erases the pick, and it's a first down for Green Bay.
Right here is Kaminsky, and right there is the hand to the face, and then watch it push up and out. There it is right there. Wow, what an expensive penalty. Not only did it wipe out the interception, it wiped out
the hold.
Exactly.
Kirby Joseph thought he had become the first guy to pick off Aaron Rodgers 3 times in the regular season. That does not happen. Wild 3rd quarter. 1st and 10 from the 21. Side give with Dillon. He'll carry. The linebacker Anzalone to the 30-yard line. Pickup of nearly 9.
There aren't many running backs in this league that weigh 250 pounds, and you can see when 250 pounds get going that way, it's hard to stop them. Anzalone just went along for the ride on that one. He is a stud.
Both backs, Dillon and Jones, have played every game this year. 2nd and a long one. Dillon tries to get that one, and he does again with that power. Didn't matter that Deshaun Elliott was hanging on to him. First down, Green Bay, inside of a minute here in the 3rd.
And it's good patience here by Aaron Rodgers. Remember that really no matter what Matt LaFleur may call from the sideline, there are 2 or 3 options that Aaron Rodgers can go to. So if he wants to throw it every down, he can throw it every down. But so far, Aaron Rodgers is being patient, and when he starts drives by running the football, it sets up opportunities in the pass game.
Get it to the Dillon run to the 36-yard line, as that's going to take us to the end of the 3rd quarter. Interesting quarter indeed. Each team scored their first touchdown of the night. Off we go to the 4th. Packers 16, Lions 13. Winning in game for Green Bay. Sunday Night Football continues from historic Lambeau Field after these messages.
Number 4 and number 12 will be forever tied together, and they did a lot of things alike. Let's go back and let's watch old Brett Favre and the way he threw the ball, both feet off the ground on so many of his throws. And Aaron Rodgers, yes sir, you got it. And you go, why would those guys do it? It's so hard to throw the football like that. But it also protected them throughout the course of their career. When your feet are off the ground, you don't have linemen falling in to your knees and the knee surgery. And we know how long these guys were able to stay healthy and continue to play. But you can only throw with both feet off the ground if you've got a howitzer for an arm. And those guys certainly did. Do not try that at home.
What a run. Nearly 30 years for the Packers. 4th quarter begins with a Rodgers sideline shot, trying to drop it into Romeo Doubs. Step for step was Jerry Jacobs. Speaking of a big arm and a perfect throw.
That was the old wrist flipper there. That was that perfect or what? I mean, how did he not catch this ball? Did it get deflected? I couldn't tell.
I don't know if you can see through Jacobs. They run out quick here. And the Lions are getting a chance to match because the Packers did sub. This is 3rd and 6.
I thought the referee wanted to see the replay too.
Hey, you got Callie?
Third and 4. Rodgers looking for an escape route. On the run, going to try to get there, and he won't. Anzalone stopped him from going forward as he was being pulled back in the other direction. And the Packers going to be about 3 yards short of a first down here, and Rodgers didn't like the physical part of the end of that pile.
That was some effort, though. I couldn't see who it was. The hustle back to get there, basically to catch. And yes, that was James Houston, I think, able to run him down from behind. That has been some story, that young man. 8 sacks and didn't even get to play until late in the season. 8 sacks in 6 games.
4th and 4. Pat O'Donnell with the kick. Will get away from it. Raymond thought about a fair catch. It'll die there at the 25. That's where the Lions will take over, try to tie the game or take the lead with a score, which would be good for the people of Seattle. Packers win, they're the 7. Lions win, or we end up in a tie, and the Seahawks advance to the playoffs, and the Packers are eliminated. The 7 playing in Santa Clara against the 49ers on Super Wildcard Weekend. The weekend starts on Saturday with 2 games, 3 games on Sunday. We'll be with you Sunday night, and then a game on Monday night, and we'll wait for the lineup and all the stuff that comes with it, the times and networks coming up at the end of this one, or a little bit later on tonight. Goff 15 of 26, 160 yards, no touchdowns, no picks. 25, inside throw, Amon-Ra St. Brown for nearly 15 yards, right around the 40-yard line.
This is what St. Brown is just so good at doing. He has those little internal kind of moves right at the top of his route. Sort of like a Cooper Kupp kind of guy. Watch him right here at the top of the route. A couple little shimmies there and able to shake away that time from Adrian Amos.
First 2 years in the league, 194 catches. Eddie Clark got a good jump there, but Jamal Williams got a better one going the other way. To midfield, gain of 11, Lions first down.
And this is where the whole Dan Campbell mentality starts to kick in, right? Just there's nothing to play for. The Packers have everything to play for. And yet watch this offensive line come off the ball and create a gaping hole inside. These guys really believe that they deserve to win these kinds of games because of all the work they put in during the course of the year. Oh, there we go. Goff saw the blitz coming off the outside. Looked like Devondre Campbell.
It's to this run, Williams seeking that space. Good run. Boy, Williams is running determined here. Gain of 8, Melissa.
Mike, I talked to Jamal Williams about being back in Green Bay for this game. He said, Packers fans still reach out to me. They tell me they love me, they miss me. But he was trying to keep his emotions in check tonight. He said it's great to see old friends and teammates like Aaron Jones, who he calls his brother forever, said he's family. But he did send some trash talk this week to Jones, along with some passive-aggressive compliments, and said Jones did it right back.
Those two with great personalities and similar play style. Williams a break. DeAndre Swift the back. Goff on play action, throws back to Swift. They get the blocking? They did. Swift first down and more. DeAndre Swift right around the 33-yard line, out of bounds, and Detroit has 3 first downs on this drive.
That was some good open field blocking on the outside. Who was that came out here and just very athletically able to stay last second on that block? It may have been Jonah Jackson. And that's what DeAndre Swift does best. You put him in space, any kind of space, he's going to make big plays.
The 33-yard line. Swift, Clark first contact. And brought down by T.J. Slayton. Minimal gain on first down for Detroit.
Yeah, there's just been some great battles on the outside here. You've got Kenny Clark, who's as good as there is out there, and then trying to work that double team is one of the great young players in Penei Sewell, and that time Clark just too much.
Pro Bowl alternate this year. He's been to a couple of Pro Bowls. The 7th-year man out of UCLA, Clark, lined up over Sewell. 2nd and 10. Packers bring 4. Goff on the swing. Swift trying to hurdle, and Jair Alexander stayed high. Wouldn't let him fly. Gain is only 2.
Now, I never did that.
You're smart.
But it's got to be a bad feeling when you get to there.
Yeah.
When you jump, you jump, and the guy is still standing straight up and down like, oh, man.
You're a beauty. 3rd and 8. Run like they did. They picked up 1 3rd and long. Swift's not going to get there, but make the field goal shorter. Field goal will be 43 yards right now. But Dan Campbell says, wait a minute. We might go here.
They're going to at least go hard count here, right? Try and return the favor. But that was a great open field tackle that time by Adrian Amos. That one looked like it was going to turn the corner.
4th and 2. This is in their profile. You saw Penei Sewell bobbing his head up and down when the play call came in. Let's go. And here we go.
This could well be their 2-point conversion type play here that they like.
Goff going to throw for it and going to get the first down with DJ Chark at the 22-yard line. Wow. 4th and a couple, and they go in the air and keep the drive alive.
That's why they love Dan Campbell. You know who he really gave credit to? Remember Sean Payton?
Absolutely.
He was talking about, there are a lot of coaches that I've played for that believed in a conservative approach, but he really taught me there are times that it is the right thing to do to take chances.
Pick your aggression points and go after it. And they do on 4th down a lot, and they do with shot plays. Take some shots in situations like this, too. The 22 pitch, Swift catches it with the left hand, turns it upfield. DeAndre Swift inside the 12-yard line. Mark him right around the 11, and it will be the Lions' 1st and 10.
It's a good pitch to the outside, just enough to make that play. But, the other part about going for it on 4th and 2, if you convert, it demoralizes defenses because they know that was their chance to get off the field and end this drive. And yet now they're still out there, and the offense has the momentum.
They're at the 11. It's 1st and 10. Got to go quick as they switch plays. Swing it. Swift in space. Down at the 10-yard line. Brought down quickly there. And in some pain as he came down as well.
Yeah, he got tagged at the end of that play.
And the athletic training staff from Detroit out to look at DeAndre Swift, who has battled through injuries throughout this season.
Somebody from the defensive interior, was that Jaron Reed?
A flag was thrown here, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, a flag was thrown at the back end. There's a conversation going on amongst the players out there, and I think I saw a flag thrown late in the pile there. Terry, what'd you see?
Clearly a forearm to the head, Mike. This is a foul for unnecessary roughness.
Don't know if that was the flag or there was a lot of jawing going on around Swift as the athletic training staff was looking at him.
After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, number 7 of the defense.
No.
Half the distance to the goal, automatic first down.
Yeah, so that's on Quay Walker, and they missed the penalty you guys were talking about, but that was Walker, and that's LaFleur right to his rookie. You got to be smart.
Yeah, and for DeAndre Swift, his leg was pinned underneath the original tackle, and then Jaron Reed hit him in the head.
Oh, he pushed a member of the athletic training staff. That's ridiculous. Wow.
If there's ever a reason to never push the athletic trainers, this would certainly be that week.
Terry, can you get ejected for that?
Absolutely. We've seen that on the sidelines with pushing or contacting coaches. They are going to disqualify for that. So, yes, we just were informed.
Okay, let's see if they stop the game and get in here. It's at the 5-yard line, and now the Lions have broken the huddle here. But now the play's being stopped. Yeah. Chris, your point was absolutely right on. You know, that was the game we had, Terry, and it was Quay Walker in Buffalo.
Number 7's unsportsmanlike conduct is disqualified.
And the Green Bay fans, you understand why they're upset. Now, Brad Rodgers is coming over to explain it to Matt LaFleur.
So the trainer basically is just trying to get in to give assistance to Swift, and he didn't do anything except trying to wedge his way in there, which you have to do.
And then Devontae Wyatt came in and did the same thing. And
Wow.
you saw LaFleur tell him you got to be smart, and he told him twice when we saw that. So the ball remains at the 5.
Yeah, and there it is at the 5-yard line. Now one of your key players out of the game, and it's a few yards closer.
Walker, only player to be ejected twice within the season. Isaiah McDuffie replaces him. 1st and goal from the 5. A late decision on the give there. Goff almost pulled it to run, which is rare for him. Williams gets 1 to the 4. Walker gets an early shower.
Goff absolutely should have pulled that ball out. He would have had the touchdown with the lead blocker in front of him. He just missed this read. Crash down inside. That's a pull all the way.
And it's the replacement for Walker, McDuffie, who makes the tackle on Williams here. Lions explode out of the huddle. 2nd and goal. Extra lineman, Matt Nelson in. From the 4, it's Williams straight ahead to the goal line. It's a big pile push. Is he in? Oh, they say he's short. Wow. See him reaching the ball over. They say he's short, and it's going to be 3rd and goal. It's going to take a while to unpile him here. And the Lions are telling their sideline to replay this because it looks like he's over there.
But can you see the ball?
Yeah. Don't know if you can. The Lions were pushing their sideline to throw the challenge flag. For the 2nd time tonight, the ball is inches from the goal line. And the play clock's down at 10. Timeout.
That, if they got to delay a game there, that would have not been good.
It was 2 things. It was a long time to umpile the guys, and secondly, a couple of extra seconds with the Lions players looking over to the sideline to challenge.
Could they still challenge now that they've taken the timeout and no play has been run, right?
Yes. Yes. So meanwhile, in this drive, Quay Walker up the tunnel. Knows the emotion got the worst of him. For the 2nd time this year on a Sunday night. As we mentioned, we saw it in Buffalo with sideline personnel, players on the practice squad not in uniform. Walker got involved with on the sideline, some pushing involved in that. Third and goal. Jamal Williams, the back. Williams into the end zone. The Lions retake the lead. A record-setting 17th rushing touchdown this season for the former Packer.
Gonna get a feel right over here. Watch the double team. Drive off. We talked about the young stud, Penei Sewell, and that is a monster hole on the goal line.
At every point, huge. Badgley knocked it through. The lead is 4. 5:55 left. Eliminated 40 minutes before kickoff. The Lions have brought everything tonight. Williams has scored twice. Now can Rodgers bring the Packers back and keep their season alive? This look at the Lions record book is brought to you by Chevrolet. New entry, although they'll all have the 17-game compared to 16-game asterisk, but of note, Jamal Williams passes Barry Sanders to the most rushing touchdowns in a season in team history. Doing it here as he has so often, capping off drives, 1 per game. They're watching back in the establishments around the great Northwest and in Seattle. They are Lions fans. And on social media, They are Lions fans as well. This is the Seahawks official account. One prize, the Lions hashtag, and they're Seattle fans, Detroit fans in Seattle right now. Keyshawn Nixon had to coast to go get that. So from a couple deep, he brings it out and gets it not to the 25, to the 20, as he turned into a big hit there by Board. Here's Melissa.
Mike, when Aaron Rodgers last came off the field, he was holding his right wrist and thumb. He had a conversation with the Packers head orthopedic surgeon and athletic trainer. He was grimacing in pain. They did not tape it, but remember, he fractured that right thumb back in week 5. He told me this week that he banged it a few times in the Vikings game last week and that it was sore this week. So something to keep an eye on.
All right, Melissa, thank you. At the end of that play, Keyshawn Nixon took a very hard hit. As well as you saw, he got spun around and into the Chris Board hit. The athletic training staff walked him over to the sideline as well. They're going to take a longer look at him. I think they're going to take him back for deeper examination. All right, here we go. 5:49 left. Packers got to win to get to the playoffs. Down 4. Rodgers on first down is chased. Rodgers gets rid of it to Aaron Jones in open space to the 29-yard line. Gain of 8 there.
And Mike, I think you're going to see the Detroit Lions a little limited on the coverage that they might be able to play here because they're so thin at the quarterback position. Remember, Jeff Okudah was not active tonight. Mike Hughes goes out of the game. So now Amani Oruwariye is playing the cornerback over here on the right side. First throw went that way. Let's see how many do.
2nd and 2, inside give. Once again, Isaiah Buggs comes up with a big play. He gets Aaron Jones and sets up 3rd down inside of 5 left. Jones slow to get up.
I tell you what makes this impressive. He goes the opposite way before he comes back to make the play. Dips inside, goes all the way around the block of Josh Myers, who was sprinting out to try and get him, and was athletic enough to come back out and make the play. He has had a big night tonight.
3rd and a couple. Rodgers gets him to this play. It's a throw to Christian Watson, who got the first down. Good blocking on the edge. Gives Watson the space to keep this drive moving.
Once again, it's Lazard out here who has to make the hardest block on the field. This is really difficult on the outside. Just good enough to pick that one up.
Getting down to maybe the last possession time, inside of 4 minutes.
What better way to end the season, huh?
Right? Amazing NFL season. You never know which way the road's going to turn. There's one more turn to make. What will it be? Rodgers flipping. Sideline for Lazard. Couldn't get there. Drifting back was Jerry Jacobs, the corner. 2nd down coming up.
Wow, I thought he was going to hit Christian Watson in the seam here. Just looked like they had this thing all set up as he came in motion. Sort of that all vertical play. It looked like he had a lot of space in there. Kind of looked right through him to the outside.
Watson's made big plays tonight. 5 catches, 104 yards. The 33 rushing 4. Rodgers pressured up the middle, and that's why the pass was incomplete. It was John Kaminsky who got in there and hit Rodgers hard.
Nice stunt. That was a good-looking stunt right there. Coming out, around, and then the hit, not late.
There's the loop.
A little loop inside, and also a little grab that was not called by Zach Tom.
This Lions defensive line, maligned during the year, has been very impactful in the game tonight. 3rd and 10. Here's a blitz. Can Rodgers beat it? Big ball downfield, and it is intercepted by Kirby Joseph. Joseph out of bounds around the 45. He's got Rodgers for the 3rd time, and the Packers are in major trouble. 2 interceptions at Ford Field in the first matchup. He becomes the first to pick off Rodgers 3 times in the regular season. Kirby Joseph, the rookie, has given the Lions the ball at midfield. From Green Bay, Wisconsin, tonight's aerial coverage brought to you by Geico. Mike Tirico, Chris Collinsworth, Melissa Stark, Terry McCauley, our Sunday night team, wrapping up this 2022 regular season. And the Green Bay Packers at home, down 4, trying to stay alive and earn the 7th spot. Lions a couple of first downs away from knocking the Packers out of the playoffs and letting Seattle in from the 45-yard line. They're going to go to the air. Goff throws, and it is... Is it caught? Is it held on to? Incomplete. Ruled incomplete as Amon-Ra St. Brown was coming across. They'll bring up 2nd down. Let's peek at the back end of it. Wait, now they say catch. Wait a minute. They've had a conversation amongst the officials. They say catch.
Did it never hit the ground? It got tied up in his legs.
Oh, my goodness. It was between his legs.
He definitely drops it, but does it land in his lap and never touch the ground, and then he gains control of it late?
Wow.
Not on the ground, not on the ground, not on the ground. Somebody has to come away with it, and it is St. Brown. Now, I've seen seasons in a lot of weird ways.
So Matt LaFleur is looking at the big screen. He's got the red challenge flag. He's thinking about challenging. He's not going to, as he saw the last look. So from the 35 on first down, the Lions run it this time and gain 9 on the ground with Jamal Williams. And they got to take a timeout here at 2:26. Try to burn him on this side of the 2-minute warning. Oh my gosh, now back to the interception.
First of all, let's start with Aaron Glenn and the guts it takes to send everybody. But it's Anzalone who's going to get the pressure and the hit here. But they send the house. Why do they do that? It's 3rd down and 10. You want to throw hot? Go ahead. Rodgers took the chance, throw it up down the field because he was contacted. The ball just floated in the air, and Joseph comes away with the interception. But for Aaron Glenn, it's been a tough year this year with a very young defense. But when it mattered most against a veteran future Hall of Famer, it was that guy, the former player who said, yes, sir, it's that way. He attacked and won.
2nd and 1, 2:28 to go. Pack with 2 timeouts.
They're still fun.
Is that offside there with Wyatt just kind of walking in? It'll be a first down.
Neutral zone infraction, number 95, defense. 5-yard penalty, results.
If you want to know why coaches sometimes hesitate to play young players, we've seen it tonight out of the Green Bay Packers.
Is declining the neutral zone foul. It still will be 2nd down.
Interesting. Yeah, there's Sheila Ford-Hemp, who is the owner of the Detroit Lions, principal owner and chair since 2020, the last couple of years, as her team is trying to win this game here and end the season. So, Chris, do they think that the Packers did that on purpose and thus declined it?
It's a very interesting not accepting a first down, right. But as long as you pick up this first down, it adds a play to the mix.
And here's the run by Williams, and he is going to get right to the first down line. We'll check where the mark is. It looks to be a first down, and the timeout taken at 2:21 to go.
I tell you, talking about some next level thinking, that was it. I'm not sure almost any coach thinks about the idea we're going to add a play to this mix and force them to burn an extra timeout. And that was really brilliant.
Yeah.
That was brilliant. You can talk all you want about biting kneecaps. That was a brilliant call.
So it takes it to the 24-yard line and a first down here with 2:22 to go. And Green Bay now down to just 1 timeout and the 2-minute warning. So they can stop it twice. And I wonder if Aaron Rodgers is sitting there wondering if he'll get another play this season at Lambeau. And as always, as the year ends with Aaron at this point in his career, who knows what the future holds. The 24, Williams, On the inside, 3 to the 21. LaFleur's going to take his final timeout here. 2:17 to go in regulation. So the Packers will be looking back if they cannot turn this around at several different moments in this game. This fumble that the Lions were able to recover as the Packers were once again driving inside the 20. Romeo Doubs right through his hands. And then this penalty here as the athletic training staff was coming in, and he put a hand to walk in there, but it's clearly the push by Quay Walker was a lot. And then the interception by Kirby Joseph. And Aaron Rodgers wonder if he's going to get the chance to get the ball back in his hands. Now, Quay Walker was upset on that play when they went and hit the athletic trainer, pushed him in the back. DeAndre Swift, a Georgia player, was the running back. He was down. Walker was his Georgia teammate. So too was Devontae Wyatt. They may have been checking on their friend, but certainly pushing the athletic trainer took it to another level. New York agreed and kicked him out of the game. 2nd and 7 and a throw. It's Amon-Ra St. Brown staying on his feet, staying in bounds. There's a flag down here. It looks like it's on Mitchell, the tight end for the Lions, and penalties here are huge for so many reasons. Yardage and clock.
Holding. Offense. Number 82. 10-yard penalty. 2nd down.
The run for young players continues. Wow, you can't have a bigger penalty because it pushes you to the brink of field goal territory.
And it gives Green Bay a free clock stoppage.
It sure did.
.2:12 to go. Packers out of timeouts. Stoppage coming at the 2-minute warning. The Lions have thrown in a couple of spots here you'd expect them to run. They do again. St. Brown, who pitches it back to Swift, who's on the run. Swift inside the 20 to the 17-yard line. You talk about letting it all hang out. Oh, my goodness. Oh!
Where's Jack Buck? I don't believe what I just saw.
The 2-minute warning.
Are you kidding me?
If the Lions get 3 yards, the Packers will get knocked out of the playoffs. Third and 3, Packers out of timeouts. The game comes down to these 3 yards. Chris, have you ever?
I've never. And we debated, were they more dangerous if they had a chance to be in the playoffs or no? I'm not sure you call that play if you're sitting here on the brink of making the playoffs. Maybe more dangerous.
3rd and 3, extra lineman in for the Lions. They will turn and give, and Williams will be 1 yard shy. So now it is 4th and 1. The clock will run all the way down. And let's see what they're going to do here as the play clock will sync up to about 1:13 left.
I think they go for it.
You do?
I do. Just from the standpoint, you get a chance. Well, let me see where they're going to mark it first.
It's marked on the 15. They need a yard and a third.
That's a long, that's almost 2. Detroit. I don't know about that. It was 1 yard because then you control it. You pick up 1 yard and you win the football game.
Detroit's going to take it all the way down and take a timeout here. Either at 1:14 or 1:13.
To kick a field goal, you give Aaron a chance to go win it.
1:15.
The strength of this team all year has been their offense, so they may just rely on it here, right?
Yeah, I mean, you're seeing Ben Johnson over there and Dan Campbell and Jared Goff and a lot of conversation. And you're not seeing Michael Badgley run around, the field goal kicker.
But if you're Green Bay's defense at this point, you're not sure at all what you might see here.
And they're bringing in not their big personnel, but some receivers as well. Packers got to stop here, go down the field and score to go play a playoff game in Santa Clara next weekend. If the Lions get about 1.5 yards, they can run out the clock in Seattle, would go to the playoffs.
But if they don't, Aaron Rodgers has a chance to win it on the next drive.
The season comes down to a snap. And Goff is looking to throw, and he throws it. It's caught for the first down by DJ Chark. And you can hear them from all the way in Seattle. The Lions have come into Lambeau, and they've knocked the Packers down and out.
They hustled to the line of scrimmage. Just a quick little turnaround route. But if you run that back just a little bit, you'll see people looking around on the Packers defense. And why did that happen? Because they went to that snap huddle where they came out, got to the line of scrimmage, snapped the ball, did not give Green Bay a chance to get set. And instead, it's game, set, and match.
The Detroit Lions will finish with a winning record. Jared Goff has led this team to a comeback win on the road, and the Green Bay Packers are eliminated. Seattle will go to the playoffs as the 7th seed.
Congratulations to Dan Campbell. I mean, what he's done keeping this team together in the second half of this season and end up with a winning record, just amazing.
What a turnaround for this team and for Dan Campbell and this franchise. And now Aaron Rodgers. This has been the case with Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers. So many players want to talk to them. And Jared Goff comes over to Rodgers as well. The Packers are stunned.
I'm stunned. 2 games against the Detroit Lions.
That's
really
right.
was their season.
Yeah, it was interesting. I think Jameson Williams asked Aaron Rodgers for his jersey, and Aaron said, I'm going to hold on to this one. So that just adds to the
questions.
The speculation that will happen for months here. Jamal Williams, former teammate. Lions fans are down there behind their bench cheering, but the story and the focus right now is not the Lions winning, but for the moment it is Rodgers. And Aaron's going to take a long look around here, I bet, and take it in a little bit. Because we know that the speculation has been year in, year out. What the organization decides, what he decides, and with Randall Cobb, those two were together, locked arms, emotional before the game started during the national anthem. And they've kind of paired up here to make sure they leave Lambeau, if this is the last time, together.
We saw so much quarterback movement last year. Anything's possible. They started the game that way. They're finishing the season that way.
You just don't know if it'll be the final time or not. A lot's going to happen here in the offseason, but these two guys have been through a lot. This is one of Aaron's closest friends. He has talked about it a lot. Having Randall back, he really wanted him back and got him back a couple of years ago. And from that national anthem, like you said, Chris, just kind of think in the back of your mind. You just never know. One of the great careers of all time. Might be one more chapter. Chapter 1 for Aiden Hutchinson, a face of the rebuild of this franchise. And the fans have come across the border or around Lake Michigan to Wisconsin to celebrate. This has been a house of horrors for generations of Lions and Lions fans. And making the playoffs was their hope and their goal. That was out of their control. But absent of making the playoffs, there is nothing sweeter for the fan base of this team than knocking out the king in the NFL's castle. And the play that sealed it was Jared Goff. The other end of the Matthew Stafford trade, he watched Stafford win the Super Bowl with his old team. Now he's taken Stafford's team to a new height in this rebuild, engineered by Dan Campbell. Biting kneecaps, trading places with some of the best in the league, and trying trick plays when nobody would thought with an energetic young core led by the #2 pick in last year's draft, Aiden Hutchinson. The Lions say farewell to the Packers for 2022, and will we say farewell to one of the best to do it in this stadium. The SNF postgame's coming up, but first, these messages from your local NBC station.